I'm sorry. But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
All right. Well, there are parts
That was quite inspiring.
Yes, it was. I don't agree with all of it, but it is very inspiring, and I felt like feeling something in my dead heart tonight. So,
Did you hear that part where he said the kingdom of God is within man?
Yeah, and he totally misused that verse, but I was gonna let it slide because it's inspiring. Welcome to.
Gary?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you, Cody?
Yeah. Let's do the intro. I totally forgot.
It's all right. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. Cody, how are you this evening?
Man, I'm well. I'm well.
Me too. Yeah, it is really interesting to listen to that speech after I've been doing so much research about that era. And H.G. Wells and all that. And the communist idea that technology was going to lead us to a utopia through a committee of experts. It kind of added a dark twist to that speech that I didn't realize was there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you weren't talking about, the human spirit. You're talking about that committee of experts. Oh, great. Oh,
Hey, do you want to drop your screen share for me?
my what?
Your screen share?
Oh, you want me to drop the screen share? Okay, I can do that. Hang on a minute here. Let's see here. Okay, we'll stop it for now.
Oh, my camera's not started, is it?
It is not.
My fault.
There you are. Hello.
All right.
Hello, Calyx. It's good to see you. Good to see you indeed. So tonight, we are going to be talking, we're going to be doing a read-through of Genesis 4. And Cody, you haven't been here for one of these yet, but we're basically, for like 30 minutes, we just read the Bible and we get as far as we get. We just talk about whatever we talk about, look up whatever we want to look up. And then, yeah, we don't really have a destination and we have no idea where it's going. It's kind of like like a freeform Bible study, I guess. Be the best way to put it. So, yeah, so we'll start with that. And then we are going to talk about Kirk Cameron. I guess he is rethinking his definition of hell. And there was a lot of controversy. I haven't actually had the chance to look at the exact tone of people's reactions to him. I'm suspecting that people are going to be very upset with him for rethinking his position on hell. I'm sure he's getting backlash.
Yeah.
But
the orthodoxy.
What?
But the orthodoxy.
Yeah, with the orthodoxy. Yeah, the orthodoxy is not happy with him. So we're gonna look at that, and then I thought we would end the night with since I have yet to advertise my book like an adult, I thought we would talk about one of my most hated fiction tropes of all time. That's like the Liar Revealed. I hate that storyline more. So this would be like the Bug's Life. This would be like any situation where somebody's pretending to be something they're not, and you have to wait for half the movie before everybody figures out what's going on. I have a special place of hatred for that trope. So I thought we would rant about that for a little bit. And then we're going to end with a little poll on some book covers. So with that being said, are you ready to switch over to the Bible? I'm going to have to screen share again. I'm sorry?
Perfect. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. All right. And there we go. So let me switch over here.
Okay. It sounds like Adam's already getting into Eve, if you know what I mean. Something here for a second. I'm getting sweet. Did that work out? Did I emulate Trevor there for a second? Love you, Trevor. Is it?
Yeah, hang on. I went dead again. I started to read the Bible, and then I looked at it, and I realized, OBS shut off my microphones again, because OBS is awful. But I got it fixed.
All right.
I've had Trevor producing for the last couple weeks, so I'm out of practice, and OBS likes to switch things up. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start from the top there. We're going to get into, this is Genesis 4. We'll start from the top. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So,
okay, let me stop you. So, this is something that's always kind of like made me wonder. Like, so all through the Old Testament, God wants animal sacrifice from people, right?
Right.
So why did he turn away Cain's offering? That doesn't line up behaviorally.
Well, Cain's offering was like vegetables. It was kind of... The idea, is I was always taught, was that he was basically offering like his second best stuff, like his leftovers. Yeah. Abel's the one who...
So, like, was it not his first fruits?
I don't know if it was his first fruits or not. Let's look back and check that. Let's see. It doesn't specify that it's his first fruit. It said, brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel brought the firstlings of his flock. So, I don't know if there was a best version of fruit he could have provided or not. But traditionally, it's always been kind of assumed that Cain was just offering his leftovers, you might say. But I don't know. It doesn't. The Bible doesn't actually specify that.
And I wonder if Abel, when it says brought to God, what does that mean? Does that mean he burned it?
Yeah, usually it was like a burnt offering, I believe.
But it doesn't specify burnt, does it?
No, it does not. So it was some kind of sacrifice, but we don't know. We don't know exactly what it was. So, Christopher Gupton, I have been watching a lot of your guys' content and enjoy it very much. God bless you all, and you are doing some good things. Well, thank you very much, Christopher. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. We're trying. So we're limping along. So. Thank you very much. But yeah, I don't think, you're right. It's not a burnt offering. I know that, the idea has always been that blood is necessary for the payment of sin. And I think that might have something to do with why God rejected Cain's offering, but it doesn't directly say either way, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It just makes me wonder because, like, the earlier in the Bible we get, the more physically God manifests.
Mm-hmm.
And like the further we get in the Bible, the less that happens. So like when it says to him, like he was walking around in the garden, it's like, so when it says they brought it to God, what does that actually mean? Was God still kind of physically here?
I've always assumed so. Like God was, like God was still interacting with people. Like, because it's interesting when you look at the Bible as like a whole. There's these periods of time where God will show up a lot, and then there are these, like, I guess you would say, dry spells. So, for example, Gideon, when Judges is talking about the story of Gideon remarks that God hadn't shown up in a while. You know, or one of the judges remarks that God hadn't shown up in a while, and they were wondering, well, where are the miracles of of our fathers and all this? And so it's almost like it happens. He'll show up directly at specific moments in history, and then he'll not be as like physically obvious in the world at different points. So
Yeah.
and it kind of goes back and
feels
forth.
like that in my daily life too. It's like, throughout the year there are times when it's, life is harder,
Yeah, kind of seasons and waves.
Yeah.
Christopher Gupton says, "You're welcome, guys. Much love to you too, man. Thank you." So yeah, are you ready to keep going, or you want to explore a little bit more? Okay. Well, that's good because I need to remember where we were at. So, oh yes, that was what I was going to bring up. The sin lying at the door, knocketh on the door. Yeah. If thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So Jordan Peterson, your buddy, had a lot to say on this. So he was talking about that there's some kind of nuance in the language that I'm not familiar with, but he commented that the analogy is almost like there's like this partnership or some kind of desire, like intimate desire for sin at this point, like an intimate relationship with sin. When that analogy about knocking on the door implies a partnership with sin. Like you guys create this, the person and the sin create this inappropriate relationship. So what do you think about that?
Read the verse again.
Let's see. If thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to me, like, I don't know what the hell Jordan Peterson's talking about.
Well, what do you think about it?
So to me, it's like, if you do good, cool. If you don't, cool. Learn from it. Like, don't be a bitch about it. Because if you just sit there and wallow in your misery, fleshly desires will tempt you to make yourself feel better.
Yeah. Well, I kind of find it interesting that there's this kind of co-mingling concept. So it's like sin lieth at the door, like it's wooing you, and then you accept its call, and then you desire it too, and then there's like this back and forth or this kind of interplay suggested between sin wanting you and you wanting sin and being self-destructive. I don't know.
Misery loves company kind of idea.
Yeah. Like it's a feedback loop. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of a half-formed idea that I find kind of interesting. All right. And Cain talked of Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. So I think that blood crying out from the ground to be kind of a demand for justice and all of that. So you got any thoughts on that point?
I think it literally means when innocent blood touches the earth, there's an earthquake.
You think it literally means that? Do tell, elaborate.
It gets kind of dark.
Go for it. Let's get dark.
All right. So it's been a long time since I've done this research, but the last time I looked, areas with a lot of earthquakes are areas where I don't want to talk about it. It's really dark.
Well, you opened it up, man. Now I'm all dying of curiosity. You're like, what have I done? What have I done?
Yeah.
It's too late now. You can't abort. You're in a tailspin.
Well, it's funny you say abort.
You're talking about child sacrifice then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of tied to medical establishments that use aborted, things.
Okay, so they're using like fetal tissue in certain labs. What?
Yeah,
You,
places that they do that, they have waste, right? So what do they do with that? And if those are hotspots for earthquakes, I mean, it lines up.
really? So let me see if I understand this correctly. So where there is an earthquake,
I think there's innocent blood been spilled. That's
okay,
just,
gotcha.
and I think the innocent blood is a very specific part of that.
Interesting. Well, go on, because Christopher Gupton says, so am I. I really want to hear your opinion. So that's basically it. You think that these earthquakes are correlating, huh?
Yeah, there's labs, scattered throughout the country
Uh-huh.
that do with aborted tissues, and they have waste, and
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. One of the darkest things I've seen myself is you probably haven't heard of Francis Collins, have you?
No.
He is one of the more nefarious actors that have shown up in politics in recent years. It's really depressing because a lot of people thought he was like a pretty strong Christian scientist, like a proponent for Christianity and science. He wrote a book called The Language of God, and he acted like a Christian, and then he got into the Obama White House, and he started. It came out eventually that he was selling like baby body parts to college universities.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the darkest. Yeah, it was pretty twisted. Of course, this is the guy that's going to sit there and tell you to be all nice and civil. And then whenever he was finally fired, he sang a praise and worship song on his way out. It was just kind of wolf in sheep's clothing archetype, it was really messed up. One of the more nefarious people I've ever heard of. Absolutely sick. Calix says, Dutch sense. I do not.
What?
Calix asks, Dutch sense. I have no idea what that is. We can Google it, though. Let me pull that up. Dutch sense. Okay, so this is... This is like a earthquake, tsunami strike kind of... Let me pull this up here. So earthquake live stream in the past 48 hours of activity. That is interesting. Wow. Huh. Well, there you go. Can you see that on your share screen, Cody?
Yeah, it's an earthquake tracking website.
Yeah. Well, that's neat, Calix. Says, yee, bro. And then Christopher Gupton says, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. That is dark. But unfortunately, the darkness is vastly among us, with many people lost in a sea of evil doings. I completely agree. So yeah, and then we have this earthquake tracking site. That is fascinating. I had no idea that was a thing. Huh. Well, all right. Are you ready to move on, Mr. Cody?
Yes, sir. I have no idea how my camera looks, but
I think you're good, man. I'm just getting hypnotized by that fire in the background. So Calix says he's cool. I'm assuming he's referring to Dutch sense. Yeah, that is I'm gonna have to check that out. Pull that up one more time. That is really neat. I'm gonna have to check that out. Huh. All right. So see. Okay, so we're on verse 11. All right. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech. And before we go through all that, let's just pause there for a minute. That fire, Christopher Gupton says, that fire has quite a hypnotic vibe to it. I must agree. It's pretty cool, man. So, all right, any final thoughts on Cain and Abel before we move on to the genealogies?
I don't think so. It does make me wonder about like lineage, you know.
Yeah.
Like putting today's people in different Cain and Abel categories.
I don't know. You think we could pull that off?
I don't know. It'd be a lot of conjecture.
Yeah, I think I agree. So, all right, let's see. All right, so we were on to Lamech. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. And Ada bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer of brass and iron. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. Now, this is another one of those things Jordan Peterson had a comment on, and for the life of me, I'm blanking out right as it comes out. But it was this idea of trying to prevent escalation when it comes to like murders, I believe. So typically in this time, say one man killed another man, the family that lost the loved one, they might not be content to kill the man that had slayed their relative. They might go and wipe out the entire family. And so this was supposed to be some kind of like, if you try to take vengeance on me, something worse is going to happen to you type of thing. So it was like a way to prevent escalation in tribal war, perhaps. I don't know. I'm probably butchering that and not saying that right at all. But
yeah.
What do you think this means? This idea of the asking God to, I guess, avenge the murderer.
I would say that would be the correct action, because like if you say a guy kills a guy and you kill him, his whole family will have contempt for you, which would be why you would want to kill him and his whole family. But so in the old days, but there will always be a family member that will have contempt for you for taking away their loved one, right? So there's like this constant back and forth of hatred, and there's no stopping it. So when you let the Lord handle it, it's like, the guy kills your your family member and gets away scot-free, let God handle it. He'll probably get in a car wreck and get hit by a dump.
I lost you on the last bit there, but I think I'm kind of tracking.
Like what happened to Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins.
Oh,
when he was gonna kill the murderer, but God took care of it, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
The other guy shot him.
Okay. Well, Calyx asks, how cold is it in there? Then he adds, looks to be 50 or 40 degrees. You look pretty discontent.
No, I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah?
I got this whole corner all I got steel panels all welded all around it, so there's a good radiating heat coming off this whole corner.
That's pretty nice, man.
But no, it's about 32 degrees outside, so it's a little nippy over in the other side of the room.
yeah, it dropped like in Missouri pretty quickly today. So
yeah. This stove right here is actually from Missouri.
Oh yeah?
We got it at an auction there over by Grandma's house.
That's awesome. Christopher Gupton says, sorry, by the way, Calyx, forgive me for being rude. How are you? Okay. So they're talking amongst themselves. So, and then Calyx says, damn. And then God said, no, Bruce, you will dress like a bat and fight crime. God does see and know all, that's for sure. It was 80, and he says it was 82 where he's at. All right. So, okay. Let's see. We're about done with 4. I'm going to try to figure out where I'm at. Okay, so 7 to 70-fold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God, she said, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began man to call upon the name of the Lord. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. So, I'm not sure what that last verse means.
Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord.
It's like they started to pray.
Yeah, that's what I would take it as.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So,
because like we were talking about, God was more physical in the olden days, and it's just saying as time progressed, he became a more spiritual being, and then they started praying to him or calling for him.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Whereas before, maybe he was just kind of like, I wonder if he was like omnipresent. You're just like in your, in your garden shed getting a rake, and you're like, oh, hey, God. He's just like in your shed with you. Like, he's just omnipresent with everybody all the time.
Well, technically he's like that now, so.
Yeah, but he would be like physical. Like
oh, like physically there, like you could see him
right.
all the time. Okay. It was definitely a different world. Like the way he interacted at this time's certainly
it's like
different.
Take a nap and you're just like, it's like sorry, I'll just stand here.
Oh, that's funny. So, all right. That's 4. I think we're going to go ahead and call it good. We got through that pretty quick, but I don't think we could get through 5 just as quick. So we'll start 5 next week. You have any final thoughts on Chapter 4?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. So we're going to move on to Section 2. If you are on the live stream, stay with us. We've still got another 2 segments left. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Or pieces. Deuces.
Pieces of deuces.
On to Section 2. So I'll kick us off. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-Up Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. And today, Kirk Cameron has apparently been rethinking his position on hell. So, which, people talk about that
what
stuff.
What the hell?
Yeah. That was pretty much everybody's reaction. Everybody got very upset, apparently. Or a lot of people got upset. There was, how dare he think something other than what's normal? But let me just say what he had to say, or let's play what he had to say here at the end of his show the other day, and we'll just kick it off from there.
So, Dad, get down to it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this?
So my position, as it stands today, and again, the beauty of this is that we're always learning and growing, right? So I'm open to new light. If you guys have a position that you can share with me, I will gladly change my mind. I used to hold the position of conscious eternal torment because that's just what I was taught by people that I love and trust. I've learned that there are other positions, and a very robust argument can be made for conditionalism or annihilationism, as Edward Fudge posits here. And it fits the character of God, in my understanding, more than the conscious eternal torment position, because it brings in the mercy of God together with the justice of God. It doesn't leave judgment out. It is just, but it also fits with the Old Testament picture of the fate of the wicked, which is to be destroyed, it is to die, and it is to perish, not live forever in an eternal barbecue. And the classic verses that used to get me into eternal torment, the punishment, everlasting destruction, fits beautifully with a destruction, punishment, judgment that is irreversible and lasts forever. That is the eternalness of that punishment and that destruction. So that's where I am today. How about you, James? What do you think?
I agree. I think just based upon everything that I know, and have read and believe about the character of God, leads me to believe in more so of the idea of eternal destruction rather than eternal torment.
Yeah.
So one thing I forgot to do was to have a million memes of cities burning and people freaking out and cars running into each other in total pandemonium, because apparently this was horribly offensive to somebody in the Christian community. So much so that Ray Comfort had to release a statement to clarify that he did not agree with Kirk Cameron. And luckily, Kirk Cameron was not working for Ray Comfort at the time of this statement. Otherwise, he might no longer be working for Ray Comfort, although they're friends. So this is apparently a big deal. So here's what Ray Comfort had to say.
Kirk Cameron has been a dear friend of mine for decades. I've known him to be a godly man, a man who loves the Lord, his family, and the church. In a world filled with phonies and make-believe, especially in Hollywood, I think Kirk's the real deal. He's not only been a friend of Living Waters for nearly 25 years, but we've served in ministry together for a good portion of that time. Some of you are aware of the fact that Kirk recently shared his questions and developing thoughts about the biblical nature of hell and the fate of the wicked. On his show, his son asked him a question, and Kirk gave his honest thoughts, indicating that he finds the view known as conditional mortality or annihilationism to be both compelling and possibly biblically supported. While it certainly seemed from some of the things Kirk said on his podcast that he was indicating that this is now his official view, when I spoke with him personally on the phone, he told me that while he believes the Bible appears to point in the direction of this view, he's not settled on the matter and has asked for further discussion. Some of you have been asking whether or not Living Waters holds this position, and whether or not Kirk still works with us in an official capacity. The answer is no. While we believe Kirk is sincere, we believe that conditional mortality and annihilationism are erroneous views, and that the Bible's clear teaching on...
I'm sorry, I just find that very dark, that he's there's somebody going, is he still working for you? He better not still be working for you. He thinks a different thing.
He's not part of the group think anymore.
He changed his mind, the animal. So I just thought I was just kind of not taken aback, because the truth is I wasn't surprised at all. But, I don't know. I just wanted to bask in the horribleness of it, because, I don't necessarily agree with Kirk Cameron, but he has the right to explore the subject. It's complicated and not as straightforward as people make it out. This stuff never is. But apparently, we've got to set stuff on fire whenever somebody breaks rank.
Yeah.
So, now as for the rest of the videos I selected, I haven't actually watched them all the way through, so I don't know exactly what all they're going to say, but I wanted to look at some of the other people that have been talking about this and kind of react to, you know, their reactions. And then I thought, yeah, reacting to the reaction, to the reaction, to the reaction. And then I thought we would talk about, I guess, our opinion on the matter and all of that.
Okay.
Close out with that. So, all right. So this is Ruslan KD first up. We'll see what he has to say. Oh, we lost Cody. Ruh-roh. Hang on a minute. Let me switch to single. If I can find my single track. Here we go. All right.
Sorry, man. I accidentally touched my earbud and it just like kicked me out of the stream.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm just glad it wasn't like an internet thing or something. Like, oh no, it could be a while, but that's all right. So who we got up here first is Ruslan KD. Apparently Wes Huff defended Kirk Cameron after major backlash. I don't know what old Ruslan's going to say here, so we'll take a look at him for a few minutes.
I want to highlight something Wes Huff engaged with regarding annihilationism and Kirk Cameron. But before we get into the actual topic, I'm astonished that the Kirk Cameron show has his son.
By the way, your camera's off. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but
I was not aware of that.
but I'll give you a minute to get that going. There you are. Alrighty.
As the producer, and I don't know how old his son is. He's old enough to grow a beard. If you guys don't know who Kirk Cameron is, Left Behind, famous actor from the 90s, 2000s, now has his own show. And they get into the idea of what is hell all about. And before I reveal to you guys Wes Huff's thing, I just want to acknowledge how awesome it is that like father, son are doing a show. This is kind of what has Kirk Cameron in some hot water regarding the topic of hell. And Wes Huff kind of coming to his defense, which is super fire. So let me play this out. Okay, before we get any further in this conversation, and we're gonna go in the weeds and talk about all the different angles, I gotta let you guys know I'm actually coming on tour. March 21st, I'll be in Houston, Texas at the House of Blues. If you read my book, Godly Ambition, you know how much that venue means to me. Dallas, Texas, I'm at the Echo Lounge. Chicago, 10th, I am at Park West, and then we're in the Pittsburgh area, Oakmount at the Oaks Theater, then the DC area, Arlington, Virginia. April 26th, I'm in New York City at the Sony Music Hall.
I don't care.
May 9th, I'm at Los Angeles at the Fine Hour.
Huh?
I said I don't care.
I know, but we gotta follow, or I follow Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers rule. Like, if you're gonna use somebody's content, you gotta listen to the stinking ad. It's fair. It's fair. It's annoying, but it's fair. You gotta listen to the ad.
Church Theater, Clearwater, Florida, May 15th in the Tampa area, and Atlanta, Georgia, closing out the whole tour at Center Stage. We come together, hang, there'll be some live worship, live music, all that good stuff.
Smart founders know something
Hey,
most
look,
people
an ad.
miss.
We
Get
do
your
not
domain
have to
name,
listen to
even
this.
if you're not ready to launch your business. With
Hit the link in the pin comment.
YouTube has gotten almost unwatchable here lately.
Hadn't it?
Yeah. Would somebody please come up with a competing video platform?
Let's jump back into this video. So go watch this full video. They basically walk you through the different positions on eternal conscious torment, which is kind of the position many of us hold, and the idea of annihilationism, okay? And they walk through this for quite a while, all the verses, and then he basically reveals his position on hell.
I will gladly change my mind. I used to hold the position of conscious eternal torment because that's just what I was taught by people that I love and trust. I've learned that there are other positions, and a very robust argument can be made for conditionalism or annihilationism, as Edward Fudge posits here. And it fits the character of God, in my understanding, more than the conscious eternal torment position, because it brings in the mercy of God together with the justice of God. It doesn't leave judgment out. It is just, but it also fits with the Old Testament picture of the fate of the wicked, which is to be destroyed, it is to die, and it is to perish, not live forever in an eternal barbecue. And the classic verses that used to get me into eternal torment, the punishment, everlasting punishment, everlasting destruction, fits beautifully with a destruction, punishment, judgment that is irreversible and lasts forever. That is the eternalness of that punishment and that destruction. So that's where I am today.
This has caused some people to be really upset with him because they feel like, man, this is absolute heresy, if you will. Now, interestingly enough, Wes Huff came to his defense. And before I go through,
I get a little tired. I'm getting a little tired of the word heresy, man. It gets thrown around a lot. It's like everyone's a heretic. It's like, okay, is there anybody who could just be classified as wrong? Like, why don't we have...
most of the time, the people saying heresy are the Pharisees.
Hey, there you go.
They're church leaders and stuff.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well...
Like, oh, how dare you? Oh, how dare you?
Can we get a word for just, like, only a little wrong? Like a half heresy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like
a bearlessy.
A bearlessy, there we go. It's like barely a heresy. So I mean, it's always like you're either in the Orthodox or you're going to hell. So it's just ridiculous sometimes. Anyway, moving on.
I gotta let you guys know that Wes Huff is actually going to be at our Bless God Summit happening March 5th, 6th, and 7th. This is going to be an amazing event here in Oceanside, California at the beautiful Seaward Resort. Wes Huff will be doing the keynote on the first night. We'll have Michael Knowles there, Ninjas of Butterflies, my man Gavin Ortland, KB and Southside Rabbi, Dr. Sean McDowell. God Logic will be debating, Jacob Hansen.
Man, that's two ads in like 3 minutes. And a YouTube ad.
He's a hustler.
Yeah, he's making it work, I guess.
On the Trinity, we have Mike Winger, Trizzleman Fitness, and this is going to be a phenomenal event. Josh Nadeau. So blessgodsummit.com. Get your tickets for real. Don't miss out on this event happening March 5th, 6th, and 7th in Oceanside. Blessgodsummit.com. Get your tickets. Okay, so let's see how Wes Huff defends.
Sorry, what?
I said I'm gonna miss out on this event.
Yeah. I don't have money. I don't get to go to things.
Kirk Cameron on this. He says, with Kirk Cameron announcing his position on conditionalism, I'm seeing a lot of people attempting to critique it. I hold to eternal conscious torment. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm basically where Wes is on this, right? Like, eternal conscious torment seems to be what Scripture teaches in the New Testament, though I haven't sat with, like, a really deep, robust argument for annihilationism. I don't have a problem with annihilationism. And I don't have a problem with people who hold to this. I said this when I was on the Avengers episode with George Danko, right? But he goes on to say, but I do understand the topic of conditional immortality, and I have yet to see anyone actually give a rebuttal that shows me they've interacted with the arguments and biblical reasoning from the other side. To condemn conditionalism, annihilationism as heresy, which to me, when you're saying someone is a heretic, I mean, you're saying that they're not a Christian. That's a serious charge, right? To condemn annihilation and conditionalism as heresy is to say that.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, it's a little over the top. I mean, can't he just be wrong? So.
John Stott, Edward Fudge, F.F. Bruce, potentially even Athanasius of Alexandria are all heretics. This is, with all due respect, ridiculous. While the position might be unorthodox, it is not heresy. So something can be unorthodox, but it could also not be heresy, right? Unorthodox meaning like it's outside of the typical view of Christendom throughout, church history. If you actually want to interact with someone who knows the topic, reach out to my friends, Date Chris or Dan Patterson. Both are solid, fair-minded, well-educated, and articulate holders of conditionalism. So props to Wes. I think the way he explained this is very well said. Someone then chimed in and said, would you say the same with universal reconciliation, Christian universalism? He said, no, I wouldn't, right? And so that's a view that some people say, well, if you're okay with annihilationism, what is that between that and, universalism, meaning all dogs go to heaven, everyone gets to heaven, and Wes says, no, I don't. Now, what do I think the deeper issue here? I think to me, and I'm going to go out on a limb, some people be mad, whether it's George Danko, whether it's Kirk Cameron, I think what we're dealing with is eternal conscious torment an essential close-handed doctrine of the faith, right? We know there's the quote that we love to refer back to, which is, right, unity in the essentials and the close-handed doctrines, liberty in the non-essentials, and charity in all things. And so it seems like some people that are going at Kirk Cameron aren't being the most charitable. You could disagree without being uncharitable. You could disagree without saying, oh, you don't view Scripture the same way. You don't view Scripture as the way it should be. You're watering down Scripture. You could disagree without attacking him personally and extend charity, right? So the question is eternal...
All right. If you want to finish this video up, it's Wes Huff defends Kirk Cameron after a major backlash. That is Ruslan KD. That's what he had to say. We're going to move on. Again, yeah, Ruslan KD. You can follow him on the YouTube. We're going to move on to Gavin Ortlund and what he had to say. And how many people did I grab? Ray Comfort and Gavin Ortlund. Okay, those are the last two. All right, let's see what he's got to say here.
But about the way these kind of conversations unfold. And the question I want to put forward is, what kind of culture of disagreement is the internet shaping right now? A few months ago, I put out a video
Okay. I don't think the internet did this. I kind of feel like this has been kind of an issue in Christian circles for a long time. Like, you know, people can't just be wrong. You know, they're heretics or something. I don't know if I would blame the internet.
When you're within an echo chamber like that, you have to make them an outcast of the group, where it upends the philosophic beliefs that hold the group together.
Yeah. So I guess that is kind of one of the age-old questions, is it's like, you know, how unorthodox can you be and still call yourself a Baptist if, like, you don't hold up to all the Baptist doctrines?
Right.
So
I don't call myself anything.
That's kind of where I am. It's like I hesitate to call myself anything because it's like, I don't agree with anybody 100% though.
Yeah.
So how many how do you categorize yourself? Because, you know, you've only got so much wiggle room in terms of error.
Yeah.
So
like years ago, I'm going to throw his name out there. So me and Jeremiah, we used to have a lot of conversations, and I would tell him how I felt, and he would call me, you know, a sect of a religion, Calvinist, you know, or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know what that means. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No, it took me a while to figure out, like, Arminianism and Calvinism, and, you know, I'm still, like, I have spent hours trying, like, studying, and I mean this, like, hours studying dispensationalism and covenant theology. I still don't have a blasted clue what the distinction is. Like, you just study it and study it and study it, and I'm like, I don't know what everybody's arguing about here. It's like, these sound like they're ideas that build on top of each other, but apparently they're very different. But
yeah.
But that's kind of like,
I think it's all silly. I don't think you should identify with anything.
It's one of those things I've had a hard time with, because it's like, I don't want to just be cagey and not accept a label so nobody can peg me down. But it's like, at the same time, I might be misrepresenting myself if I actually took on a label. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what I would call me, but I don't know how important it is to need that label either. So
yeah, I think Jesus' whole message was to not identify with anything.
Yeah, I think, like, you're supposed to.
Christianity wasn't a invention of Jesus. That was an invention of Paul. Like, Jesus wasn't. He was like, don't be anything.
I don't think you're right on it being an invention of Paul, but I do think you're right on the idea that we're supposed to be primarily interested in serving God, not taking on, like, you know, a group identity or whatever. Christopher Gupton says, I'm back, and that is so true. Everyone nowadays is a heretic or a narcissist. Everyone has to be labeled with certain buzzwords. Kirk Cameron gets to speak like everyone else. I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say I'm proud of Kirk for coming out with this, because, I mean, he fostered, I'm just going to say this, you might disagree with me, but I think Left Behind, all that stuff is absolute propaganda. and it is, the purpose of it is for fear mongering and control.
I don't know
And
about
so,
that,
and he
but
was,
okay. Sorry, go on.
That's fine. But he was a huge part of that. So for him to kind of turn his back on the establishment, that's a big step. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, it cost him. And that was a big
Yeah.
risk for sure, to just come out
Yeah.
and say, I don't know if I agree with this. That would cost him a lot more than it cost, you or I. So yeah, for
Right.
sure. So yeah, I don't know. It's just depressing. So let's see if what else Gavin Ortland has to say.
You go ahead and play this. I'm gonna go grab me a piece of firewood, okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah.
Getting why I'm not an annihilationist and trying to steel man that view and interact with it critically. I gave my criticism for why I don't hold to this view. I also tried to do some apologetics about the very nature of hell and triage the issue and so forth. Link in the video description if you want that. Here I want to talk about something different. I think there are some real deficiencies in Christian discourse right now. I don't think these things are going away. I was talking with a friend today. I was saying this isn't just going to automatically get better. In 2035, if Jesus has not returned yet, what's it going to be like then? We got to work on this, So let me highlight two issues that I think are most pressing on my heart: internet reactivity and intellectual hospitality.
Okay, I really do have to push back on this internet thing. This has been something that I grew up with. Like when I was a kid, it was the war on slacks versus blue jeans, or the war on long hair versus short hair, or cussing versus not cussing. Like there's a whole list of things where, and in every single one of them, it was never, oh, you're wrong about this. It's, you're like a bad person. You're not as much of a Christian as I am. And it was over every single solitary subject. Now, that's me speaking anecdotally, but yeah, from my own anecdotal experience, this was an issue that existed way, way before the internet. And it was all over the place. So, Cody, can you hear me? Not yet.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can. Okay. So I was relaying my own like anecdotal experience with like every little issue being like a big deal growing up in the church. Do you have any memory of like how were disagreements handled in your church when you were a kid?
I don't really remember. Like I went to a pastor for a couple of things when I was like, early 20s, maybe a little before that. And it just never really helped me any. I've never found church to be a place that has answers for me.
Did you ever get into a disagreement about a theological issue with somebody?
No, not at a church.
Yeah, like at a church.
No.
No? Okay. See, I guess I'm much more argumentative than you. I was getting into arguments all the time. So, I guess that's just me, though. But no, my whole point was I really strongly disagree with this whole idea that it's the internet that's doing it, at least in this subject. But anyway, I am a little curious about what he means by intellectual hospitality, though. So we'll look at that here for a minute.
Define these. Oh, how I pray I'm not contributing to it here. Let's try to think about this. First, internet reactivity. The internet creates possibilities for large numbers of people to interact faster than ever before in human history. Not even a contest. There's more people alive today, and everybody can swarm. There can be this like piranhas, just lunging in on one particular topic. Now, the communication abilities we have has some positives, obviously, but there are incredible temptations, and I think we need to be continually discerning about this. This is a real issue. This is not a sidebar issue. How we talk to each other on the internet, the way the internet is accelerating certain toxic elements of human discourse and Christian discourse, this is a serious issue, because what shapes conversations on the internet is algorithms, many bad faith actors, anonymous accounts, bots. I always say we don't use social media. Social media is using us. a shockingly high percentage of online engagement is low accountability profiles or bots. Not everybody, of course. Some of us are doing our best on here. But we have to understand the tone is getting shaped, the agenda is getting set by forces that are not acting in our best interest. They're certainly not acting in the church's best interest. I don't think the response to that is total disengagement for every person, though for some of us it might be. But I think I often say every Christian should come up with a personal policy, maybe write out, a game plan. Here's how I'm going to use social media so that I'm discerning about its effect upon me and so forth. And we want to just basically have wisdom here.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to, what does he say, intellectual hospitality, because I'm a little curious what he means by that. If you want to watch his whole spiel on, is the internet shaping us, it's, is annihilationism heresy, the internet is shaping us, Gavin Ortland is the YouTube channel, but I'm going to skip ahead to...
I'm not even sure how we're getting to I'm not even sure how he's getting to that argument.
He's just complaining about the internet. That's as far as I can tell. It's like, we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for Twitter. And I'm just like, Twitter didn't do this, guy. Twitter didn't do this. But I am interested in his second point, so we'll move on to see what he has to say about that.
And that's the need for intellectual hospitality. This is one of the things that I think the internet is reducing. Now, there's others as well. Let's just talk about this one for now. Intellectual hospitality is the idea to court an opposing view and critically evaluate it on its best terms, calmly and with arguments and reason, rather than sort of immediately and impulsively reacting against it. I am not trying to accuse one side or the other of this debate of always doing that, but in general, we see that a lot on the internet, and we see that in this occasion as well. So think of the word hospitality. That's a great word. To be hospitable, you invite someone into your home, and they can sit at your table, they can sit on your couch, and they're welcome there. To do this with ideas means having the humility to recognize that people who disagree with us and hold an opposing view are probably not just less intelligent. They probably have some experiences and considerations that we've not come across. I mean, again, I've seen this happen so much where I realize Christians have never read a book about a topic, and yet they are just blasting away with supreme confidence about an issue. This is not what we need. What we need is more asking the question.
Back to the internet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, this is just complaining about the internet again.
No, well, that is an effect of the internet, though, what he's saying.
Oh, the whole speaking with confidence when you haven't read a book on something?
Yeah, because people watch a 3-minute video and, they get a few talking points. Not, I'm guilty of it, but you get a few talking points and you just hammer it home. But then when somebody that actually knows what they're talking about comes back at you, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
But you could be wrong with gusto, though. So
yeah.
No, I'm sure I've been there before, but I'm the smartest man in the room, obviously. So all the time, So no, it's oh man, I cannot remember the name. I'm horrible with names tonight and concepts and just remembering anything. But there's this bell curve. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a bell curve that talks about when you're bad at something, you're super confident. You know what I mean? So it's like you think generally in the beginning of any endeavor, you think you're way better than you are. And then as you learn about that more and more and you start to realize you suck, that confidence goes down. And then as your confidence goes down, your competency actually goes up. So it's kind of like this weird switch, you know what I mean? Like you're super confident when you suck and you're way less confident whenever you're actually good at what you're doing. I can affirm that with writing, Yeah. I'm way...
Because you feel like you got it, but everybody else tells you you're great at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where you want to be.
Yeah. So let's move on to... Let's move on to Ray Comfort, and then we're going to call it good, I think. Unless you got any other thoughts on that.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Let's close out here for Ray Comfort, or listen to Ray Comfort's thing, and then or Ken Ham, not Ray Comfort, Ken Ham. All right, I'm gonna get through this. So okay, Ken Ham.
Seen a video posted by Kirk Cameron concerning a discussion about whether or not the Bible teaches eternal punishment for the wicked.
I used to hold the position of conscious eternal torment because that's just what I was taught by people that I love and trust. I've learned that there are other positions, and a very robust argument can be made for conditionalism or annihilationism, as Edward Fudge posits here. And it fits the character of God, in my understanding, more than the conscious eternal torment position, because it brings in the mercy of God together with the justice of God. It doesn't leave judgment out. It is just, but it also fits with the Old Testament picture of the fate of the wicked, which is to be destroyed, it is to die, and it is to perish, not live forever in an eternal barbecue.
So I thought I'd respond by doing something a little different, quoting some of the great Christian scholars of the past who I trust because of their stand on the infallibility of God's word beginning in Genesis. Now, ultimately, of course, God's word is our absolute authority, not a fallible human being. But you know, these scholars are making statements based on what God...
I'll say, I'm sorry, but I just find that whole, that was just disingenuous. Because we've seen the same quote 6 times now, or 4 times, however much it's been. But before that, Kirk Cameron and his son spend 40 minutes or 30 minutes talking about different Bible verses. They're appealing to Scripture to make their case. They might be wrong, but they're still going to the Bible to see what the Bible says about it. So you can't sit there and go, I'm going to trust the Bible more than I trust a fallible man. It's yeah, they're doing the same thing, guy. It's don't be a jackwagon. What are you doing? It's I hate that. I hate it because I do it, I guess. It's I'm just as snarky as that guy, and I hate it. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
God's word clearly says, and not importing their feelings or outside ideas into Scripture. So I would say we need to consider what they say very carefully and judge that, of course, against God's word.
And can I just nitpick his logic here? It's oh, well,
yeah,
I'm not going to trust...
Doesn't have any.
Right. I'm not going to trust this guy to tell me what the Scripture means. I'm going to trust these older guys to tell me what the Scripture means. Okay. All right, let's hear what they have to say.
We should always do for any teacher of the Christian faith. Well, first of all, Martin Lloyd-Jones, he's my favorite expositional preacher. He preached at Westminster Chapel in London in the 1940s.
What?
He's probably the best then, since he's his favorite.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Maybe. I don't know the guy, so he could be great. I have no idea.
Through to the 1960s. And he is well known for his phenomenal preaching series on the book of Romans and the Sermon on the Mount, as well as many other books of the Bible too.
Hey, look, an ad.
This
about
game,
space.
You're not ready for.
Now, from his Roman sermons, he said this about hell.
Hell is a condition in which life is lived outside God and all the restraint of God's holiness. All this that you've got described here, exaggerated, still worse, and going on endlessly. In other words, hell is people living to all eternity the kind of life they're living now, only that it's much more so. That's hell. Can you imagine anything worse?
I agree with that.
I know. I actually agree with that too. That's interesting. We just made fun of this guy, and we both agree with him. So there's that.
I wouldn't. That's not what I expected to hear, though.
No, that's not what I was expecting to hear either. That went in a completely different direction. But I actually agree with that.
I thought this guy's position was the fire and stuff.
Well, that's what I thought, but apparently we were wrong.
Okay.
See how we were wrong with confidence?
Weird.
Yeah, you know. It's called eating crow. So.
Yeah. Delicious.
It's men and women without any control at all. finally abandoned by God. He gave them over. He gives them over eternally. And they're just left to themselves and to manifest all that is in them of this foulness and vileness.
Wow. Now, from his study on the book of Acts.
So I just saw a comment from Christopher here. I agree. Twitter definitely didn't cause that. And intellectual hospitality. What a combination of words and ideas that is. I do the same and go blank on recalling names as of late. LOL. Yeah, I've been really bad about it tonight. And then he says, yeah, this is coming off a bit hypocritical. He is basically doing the whole trust me, bro. I know better because I am older and wiser. Just as in the times of Christ, certain people just know better. Yeah. It's like, trust me, bro. Trust in that tradition.
Martin Lloyd-Jones said this: all this modern preaching on the fact that God is love is an indication of the same attitude and spirit. We are told today that the old sermons that preached the law and talked about conviction of sin and called people to repentance were all wrong because they were legalistic. So it is said that we must return to the message of Jesus. We must get rid of all our theology, our argumentation and doctrine. It is all unnecessary. The business of preaching is to tell people that God is love. It does not matter what they are or what they have been.
Okay, that's great, but that really doesn't have anything to do with hell. Excuse me. So what he's basically saying here is, oh, we're just trying to weaken hell because of, sin, and we want to be nice towards sin. It's like, no, it's biblical accuracy. We're not, like, no option, like, ceasing to exist as a soul for all eternity is not good either. We're not trying to weaken the definition of hell, because we want to go soft on sin or whatever. We're trying to be, or Kirk Cameron is trying to be accurate as to what the Bible actually says. So it's kind of weird. It's like Ken Ham is annoying me with his framing of the whole problem, but the preacher he just quoted, not this one, but the guy, not this quote, but the quote before that was actually what we both agreed with. So this is kind of going all over the place.
It's almost like the guy doesn't actually know what he believes. He just appeals to authority.
That's what it seems like. It seems like he's appealing to authority here, but he's not actually paying very close attention to what's being said. So, Christopher says, I am being sarcastic, obviously. Yeah. Modern day Pharisee type attitude and 0. Yep. I am being sarcastic, obviously. Yeah. Or he took that comment back. Okay. Anyway, do we want to keep listening to Kim Han, or are we good with that?
Whatever's clever, man.
Whatever's what?
Whatever's clever.
Whatever's clever. I don't know what's clever. I barely know which way's up. I do know we're past 30 minutes, so we should probably wrap up with our thoughts. If you want to finish Ken Ham's response, the video is my response to the Kirk Cameron controversy. Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm kind of liked what the guy he quoted said. Let's see, David Martin Lloyd-Jones. Yeah, victorious Christianity. Yeah. Like, I actually agree with that idea that hell is, like it's an eternal realm.
It's a state of being.
It's, the way I always understood it is the fire is emblematic of destruction. And obviously we did a scriptural research on this in the past. We haven't looked that stuff up tonight, but we have a video about hell from several months back.
Yeah.
The way I understand it is to be destroyed, like when it's talking about death, like we mentioned that the Middle Eastern concept of death is to be cut off from the source of life. So think a leaf plucked from a tree, a flower pulled from the ground. It doesn't necessarily mean a cessation of functions. It means to be cut off in the Middle Eastern concept. Now, you'll physically die as a consequence of that, the first death being the physical death, and that's you're cut off from God in life, and then the second death is to be cut off from God in eternity. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, what would that look like to be cut off from God in an eternal sense after you die? And I think we talked about it and speculated that essentially, imagine not having any sort of real knowledge of what truth is, not really understanding beauty, not really understanding the orderly concepts that God embodies, but just being your memories, just being your id, you might say. You know, like you're just your... Like all that's left of you is what you built in life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so in hell, you are you minus God and the information God gives you. And so you're left with basically a shade, kind of like a shadow of your
fleshly
former
desire.
Yeah, you're basically your fleshly desires. You're basically whatever you indulged.
Yes.
And
Demon.
I'm sorry?
Which ultimately is a demon.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately that's a demon. It's like a warped version of the self. That's one theory I've heard. And I tend to kind of lean towards that at the moment because it makes sense. God, without God, what are you? You can't be the you are now because you can't even breathe without him. And he's the one that gives you your understanding of beauty and your understanding of justice and your understanding of love. Those things come from him. And when those things are gone, all you are is what you've done. And in a realm like hell, the demons are the biggest dog in town because might makes right. And so they're going to get to do what they want, but they're not going to be like jailers. You know, they're not like enforcing God's law. So hell isn't that's why hell is wrath. Like hell is not punishment for sin because Christ took that punishment on the cross. So sin has been paid for. So if there is like punishments like NDEs talk about in hell or whatever, it's because the demons made them and it's their own little warped version of morality. And they're basically tormenting you based on, because it's like they're self-righteous, ironically. Like, we talked about that too. It's like Satan wants to be like God. Well, how can Satan be like God? He can't make anything. He's not as powerful as God. So the only thing that's really left is he's like implementing his own moral code, you know, in hell. Yeah. And so if people are being punished, it's the demons doing their own version of punishment that has no correlation with God's law. Like, they cannot be the jailers. And I think a lot of the confusion...
No, you keep yourself in hell. You're your own jailer.
I'm sorry?
You're your own jailer when you're in hell. Like, if you're on meth, you're in hell. And you have to choose to get off of meth to come out of hell. Like,
yeah. Well,
the demons can use you when you're in that state.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's at least in part what C.S. Lewis meant with the phrase, hell is locked from the inside.
Yes.
You know, people, you're not going to hell because of your sin necessarily, because that's been paid for. You're going to hell because you've rejected Christ.
Yeah,
that's the criterion. Yeah. There is an element of being there and choosing to be there and choosing to remain there. And a lot of that is just so you can live the way you want or something like that. Maybe you find God's moral law repugnant or something. But anyway,
I think it's an effect of wanting to feel, like, because your ego uses your body to feel, so you know you're alive. So like when you take drugs or, you know, do vital things because it makes you feel something. That's how the ego comes to life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I got lost in the sauce there.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. I think I got you. So, all right, Christopher says, sorry, I meant to comment certain people just know better. I was being sarcastic. Also, in modern times, people want to act wise, but really have no idea what they're talking about. And then he also adds, I'm having a battle with my thoughts getting transferred to fingertips, and it is not all working together this evening. LOL. I'm having the same trouble, only with my mouth. So I hear you. So
yeah, thoughts are bullshit, man. Don't listen to them.
just live in Cody's flow state. All right, Cody, you got any final thoughts, man?
Not usually.
Not usually. All right. Well, we have pushed this one a little long, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So if you are in the live stream, stay with us. We've got one more segment left. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. And on to segment 3. All right, do you want to lead us in for this one, or do you want me to lead us in?
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the Liar Revealed Trope. This is our fiction segment.
I'll leave this one to you.
Oh, okay. All right. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast stuff. And today we're going to experiment with the fiction category that we can't seem to integrate into the podcast. And so I thought we would talk about my most despised trope of all, the Liar Revealed. I hate this one. So for those who don't know, media is basically built on different tropes that kind of propel stories along. And essentially, the Liar Revealed is like a Bug's Life. It's like, the guy pretending to be something he's not, and you have to spend half the stinking movie waiting, for everybody to figure out what in the world's going on before the plot can actually wrap up. And it's really redundant, and it's really boring, and it's a waste of time, and I hate this trope more than any other trope in cinema. So I thought we would open with a experiment in vanity, and I would go back to my article on this published in 2022. So before we do that, Christopher Gupton says, sounds good, guys. Excellent, excellent. So this is from Mind Matters News. Storytelling, the liar is revealed, but does anyone still care? Stories where the central character lies about something important often waste audience time without building tension. So, if there was one storytelling device trope I would call the bane of all good writing and a general waste of everyone's time, it's the liar revealed. With that trope, the dramatic tension is driven by the fact that the central character is not who or what the others suppose. Pretty much every other trope can be made to work properly with the proper setup, but if a writer chooses to go with this cliche, just expect the movie to stop until the trope is finished playing out. Everything is on pause until the truth is revealed. What is the liar revealed? Well, as a trope, it's not just whenever a character lies. The lies are not really the problem. It usually involves mistaken identity. And a protagonist is forced into a high-pressure situation and, in the heat of the moment, comes up with an incentive to lie, an inventive lie to buy time. This lie usually involves the rest of the central cast. So the viewer, who is aware of the lie, instantly knows the other characters must discover the truth before the story can conclude. Otherwise, the lie becomes a loose plot point. And then I've referenced A Bug's Life. So, yeah, there's that. I guess we could... Do we dare watch this? We'll probably get nailed with copyright, I would imagine. I'm like... Do
you think the liar revealed trope is a portion of the kingdom of heaven that we were talking about earlier?
A portion of... Okay, elaborate. What do you mean?
Like, is this trope within the movie Kingdom of Heaven?
Oh. Not that I recall. Does somebody pretend like they're not... Does somebody pretend like there's somebody they're not in that movie?
Well, that one fat guy pretends like he's doing good.
But okay. But he's the bad guy, though, right? He's the antagonist.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't work because the liar revealed trope is usually like with the protagonist, where the lead, because the thing is the audience knows he's lying, and that's kind of the problem. Is that it's a dramatic? I guess you might say it's a dramatic irony issue, because the audience knows what's going on, even though the characters don't. So they've got to wait for the plot to catch up with their knowledge. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so it gets really boring. So, yeah. Christopher Gupton says, by the way, I enjoy the still no no list logo. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. LOL, in all serious, though, I do wonder that quite a bit about said list. Sorry off topic, but I couldn't resist. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were debating about talking about it this week, but
we thought about it.
Yeah, we decided to hold off because the list is supposed to be, when we say list, we mean the giant file dump they've been promising for forever. But that's supposed to happen next week, I believe. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If the logo is up next week, you'll know it didn't happen. But it's supposed to come out this week. But yeah, we talked about it because some newspaper was showing a bunch of photos of Trump with girls and going, "Oh, look at this. This is scandalous." And they were claiming as part of the Epstein list. But
can you believe this rich man likes women?
Oh my goodness. What a shock. But it was the picture they showed us from a newspaper. Like, it was literally a newspaper clipping. So we were like, yeah, that's not really worth talking about. It's just the other side trying to, peg him with the Epstein stuff. So, but it's like I was telling you before the show, everybody warned him that was going to happen. It's like, Trump, why are you making deals with these people? They're just going to turn around and go, "You're on the list, buddy." And he still made a deal. Ugh. It's like watching a slow-moving car wreck. Anyway. It's just, okay. Sorry, moving on. So, while this trope is essentially a plague in children's movies, it can be found everywhere. Sci-fi, action, comedy. Every genre features instances of this goofy setup. Rather than teasing a future event, which leaves the audience with a general idea as to what's going to happen, something to anticipate and look forward to, the audience instantly recognizes a play-by-play of 10 minutes of screen time at least. First, the protagonist must invent a vain plan. Everyone must sit and listen to the plan, knowing that nothing will come of it. Then some random event will take place which outs the protagonist. The protagonist will be confronted. Then the rest of the cast will get mad at the protagonist and regret ever trusting him. The protagonist will be exiled in some fashion, and both the protagonist and the rest of the cast will spend time reflecting on their poor choices. Then the bad guys show up and force everyone to work together anyway, after which everyone sets their differences aside and addresses the problem, and the movie ends. The process of watching this unfold is exhausting. The audience already knows what's going to happen, which creates a very boring story. The worst aspect of this... Sorry, go on.
Is this in Mockingjay?
I don't know. It all bleeds together. It's like it's all like the same movie over. Does she lie about who she is and then gets outed at some point in Mockingjay?
No, her friend, because there's like 5 protagonists or whatever.
Oh, okay. So it's like
what's his name? Can't remember.
Petra, Petri Dish. Peter? Yeah, okay.
Like is it like Peter in Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe?
I thought it was something else like Petra, but I could be wrong. I don't care enough to know. Oh, it is Peter?
Yeah,
okay.
You're right. I think it's Petra or something.
Okay. So was he lying about something?
What about Peter in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Oh. No, that's kind of like an insecurity thing, because with those guys, like the lion God is telling them, that's more like a Gideon thing, where it's like God is declaring what they are, but they don't really believe they are that thing, and then they end up proving. Okay. They end up proving themselves and realizing that they had this potential. That's more of like a Gideon type deal. That's not really Liar Revealed. Liar Revealed is like Flip. You have a scoundrel type character who's a fast talker who lies to get in good with the princess or something like that. And then, like Aladdin. Aladdin's the perfect Liar Revealed story. So, Aladdin is a pauper, but he pretends to be a prince. right? And so in the end, he gets outed. Now, that Liar Revealed story isn't that bad until Return of Jafar, where they kind of hype up the same story over and over again. But the point is that Aladdin's a good basic example of it. It's like somebody pretends to be something they're not. They eventually get outed. Then the bad guy does something really bad that causes everybody else to go back to the protagonist, even though they don't like him anymore. And then the movie ends after the protagonist beats the bad guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a cinematic expert. I just learned Chekhov's gun like 6 months ago.
Well, hey, you're already like ahead of like 90% of film critics if you know Chekhov's gun. So, let's see. Christopher Gupton says, "Oh, okay, and I agree. We shall see indeed. Very true. It's the same old dog and pony show. I am with you. Trump knew they were going to do that to him. It is puzzling because that's like trusting the rattlesnake not to bite you." I know, and it gets even worse because he's got that silly woman rattlesnake story that he's always telling, you know, where the girl takes the snake into the house and takes care of it, and then the snake bites her, and she's like, "What'd you do that for?" And he's like, "I'm a snake, stupid."
I'm a snake.
Yeah.
Maybe he's revealing himself.
It's projection. Yes, it's projection. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Like, of course they were going to do that. Anyway. So let me skip ahead here. But that's just the problem. Writers who resort to these kinds of cheap, lazy writing tricks usually don't believe that an audience would be interested in watching the process. I have no idea what I'm talking about. In A Bug's Life, for example, the writers don't believe the audience would want to see the ants problem solve, figuring out how to use the circus performance to scare away the grasshoppers. Okay, I remember where I'm at. So what was bothering me about this trope is usually after the liar is caught, everybody usually like abandons the protagonist. You know, they get mad and walk off in a huff, or they kick him out of the colony or whatever. Even though like the problem they're all trying to fix isn't solved. So the guy that was spearheading the plan to counter the bad guys is removed. And so, of course, the plan fails, and they have to call on the protagonist again. And the audience knows that's going to happen. So everybody kind of has to wait for this long, drawn-out, like, Dark Midnight of the Soul thing. And, and the problem is, it's like, the audience knows the entire movie with this trope. It's like, you can literally predict the whole film, and it makes for a very boring movie. Like, I mean, I like A Bug's Life, for example. It's got some great scenes. But that stint where Flick or Flip or whatever his name is like banished or whatever, is running off with the circus bugs, it's incredibly boring, even though the grasshoppers are like attacking the ants. Because you know that nothing significant from a stakes standpoint is going to happen until the protagonist comes back. And so you just burn 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of... This is my most hated trope because you can literally predict the whole movie the second you see it. And it just makes for a really boring movie. So,
right.
So that's the long and short of it. So I'm going to quit being vain and reading my own work from 3 years ago. You know, this far inferior writer that's 3 years older than I, or younger than I am. So we'll move on from that, and then we're going to go on to this video. I have no idea if this video is going to be good or not. I haven't watched it. But this was the only video that I was really able to find that talked about the Liar Revealed, because I know Channel Awesome, Doug something or another, the Nostalgia Critic, he has a video on the Liar Revealed, but it's not too many people talk about it, but I hate it. So this was the only video I could find quickly, so I guess we'll watch this for a minute. The video is called Top 5 Movies That Did the Liar Revealed Story Right and Wrong. Hint, I'm already going to tell you every last one of them is done wrong because this trope is terrible. But anyway, the YouTube channel is LF on TV. So LF on TV is the YouTube channel. So let's give this a couple minutes and see what we come across.
Entertainment, and that's because they're like tools made to construct buildings. When it comes to them, there's always going to be either a favorite trope or a trope used in movies that grate on people's nerves. The one I'll be talking about is the Liar Revealed story. We all know
This might have been a mistake, Cody. We'll see.
this trope. A character, sometimes the protagonist, will tell a lie to the other characters, either for their own benefit, to feel more important than they are, or to cover up a mistake that has a massive impact later on in the story. Later on, the lie is discovered, followed by the characters being separated, sometimes by emotional anger, then the liar comes back to save the day and everything's alright. You see this trope happen most of the time in animated movies, and it's not like I don't get why people aren't fond of this trope. There are some things that makes this
What?
I think it's in Inside Out.
What's in Oh, the Liar Revealed is in Inside Out?
Yeah.
I think you're right, because doesn't she do something to cover up what she did?
Yes. I don't remember what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's in there. All right. Christopher Gupton says, that is true to have knowledge as the audience, and we have to wait for the characters and story to catch up to the knowledge we already have. The old show Columbo showed you who the killer was, and I'm assuming he's still writing the rest of it. Yeah, I do like Columbo, though. Have you ever seen Columbo?
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing, you had to wait and watch it all play out in a very slow-paced way. Yeah. It was fun. Some of those bad guys were fun, though. Dick Van Dyke was great. The episode of Dick Van Dyke was great. But anyway. So, all right, we'll keep watching this.
trope badly executed. If either A, you know the reveal is coming at some point.
Why you always lying?
Here are the top 5 movies that use the Liar Revealed story right, and 5 movies that did it wrong.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
The Tigger movie.
I'm not going to say anything.
This story has been discussed as a bad Liar Revealed story, but honestly, this shouldn't count as a Liar Revealed story. It's just a small conflict story.
Well, wait a minute, dude. If it's not a Liar Revealed story, then why did you count it in your thing? Okay. All right. What else? He's got El Dorado. Okay, El Dorado, though, that is a good... He's right to say that El Dorado is a Liar Revealed story. That is true. But I'm going to say El Dorado is actually an exception to that rule, though, because in the end... do you remember El Dorado?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the end, El Dorado, it turns out the emperor of that whole kingdom or whatever of El Dorado, he knew the whole time that they were full of it, but he was kind of using them for his own little political intrigue. So they actually did the Liar Revealed right, though, because they didn't waste the audience's time with 10 minutes of banishment and everybody coming back. You know what I mean? So you had the tension of when are these guys going to get outed, but they didn't waste your time with everybody being melodramatic and having a dark midnight of the soul crisis or whatever. The emperor just goes, oh yeah, I know. You guys aren't gods. Yeah. Look at you. That was really good. I liked that. So yeah, El Dorado was great. So Christopher Gupton says, oh yeah, Dick Van Dyke was great. Yeah, I do enjoy his episode quite a bit. So they had El Dorado. Anastasia, I don't remember enough about Anastasia. We'll see what he has to say about that.
Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
I'm really not liking that music, Cody. It's hurting my ears.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's hurting my ears a little bit.
Anastasia. While I do think the movie...
Okay, I vaguely remember El Dorado. Christopher says, I vaguely remember El Dorado. I need to watch that again. Yeah, I do too. It was actually, I remember really liking it. So.
Is great. I think the use of the Liar Revealed trope was done weakly. because it only happened due to a lack of communication and because it comes out of nowhere.
But all Liar Revealed tropes happen because of a lack of communication. That's what usually leads to the lie. It's just like 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, hey, you're the big grand hero that's supposed to save the day. And it's some random guy that goes, yeah, I guess I am. And then there's your movie. So it's like, yes, that they almost always happen because of a lack of communication. That is a pretty standard staple of the Liar Revealed. So I take umption with that critique a little bit because that's part of the course, or par for the course.
Dimitri initially thought if Anastasia was the...
In fact, El Dorado does that too. It's like they kind of just assume that they're gods, you know, and the guys are like, what? I mean, yes. You know, so anyway.
The real one, they could make money out of her by finding out the truth about the missing Romanov family member. It's only resolved because Dimitri left with the music box when the Queen was going to leave instead of earlier, which would have saved them the hassle. And while the climax and the ending will stay the same, Vlad would get his reward instead of just disappearing from the story altogether. The reason this is low on the list is because other than that element, Anastasia is still a great movie. The Liar Reveal part of the story just wasn't used in an effective manner.
Why the
Okay, I don't remember Anastasia well enough to, like, refute him. But it looks like he's going to Aladdin next, so I guess we'll talk about Aladdin. I didn't mind Aladdin so much, because by the time everybody figures everything else, he, like, gets jettisoned to the North Pole. So there wasn't, like, this big... I guess my main contention with it is that big dramatic, how could you have done this to me thing? And then, you know, yeah, everybody waiting for 10 minutes. Aladdin didn't do that, so I think it's fine. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll move on from that. Do you remember this Will Smith as a fish movie?
Yeah. I don't remember what the movie's called.
I don't remember either. Do you remember what it was?
Shark Tale?
Shark Tale, yes. I think. We'll find out.
Stop fucking lying.
Shark Tale. Oh, Shark Tale. One of DreamWorks' more infamous movies. Oh, I mean the Oscar-nominated Shark Tale. We've all seen and laughed at the story.
Thank you.
Frankie dies by an anchor, and Oscar, wanting to be famous, lies
Thank
that
you.
he killed him
Appreciate
and
you.
becomes famous as a result. People love to hate Oscar for this and be frustrated at how he keeps up with the lie, but that's not why I don't like it. What I don't like is the order of events that lead up to the truth. Frankie dies, Oscar lies about killing a shark and is called a shark slayer, followed by a montage of Oscar getting famous. Then Oscar hears that sharks are coming to the city, forcing him to prove himself, but then it ends up being Lenny. The two meet, Angie finds out the truth, then Lenny and Oscar do their fake fight. Granted, having that would prove to the city that he is a true shark slayer, even if he's not, and that the fish saw him do it. I think the fake fight should have happened before the rapid success montage. That way, not only would the fish see him do it, it wouldn't feel like the rapid success is mostly him doing nothing. Also, the only one that seems to apologize in the end is Don Leno when the two reconcile after the truth was revealed. It seems like neither Oscar or Lenny learnt any empathy from this whole endeavor. They didn't want to reveal the truth because of how much it would hurt their image. And let's face it, Angie is the real hero of the movie. If she didn't say anything after the fake fight, Oscar wouldn't have done anything to fix the mess he made. Angie...
Alright, I don't remember this movie well enough, so I guess I can't really comment on it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounds
this guy
incredible.
spends a lot of time watching kids' movies.
Well, all of them are kids' movies. You know, like, yeah, I don't know why this is like a thing with kids' movies. It's like, are they trying to teach the children's don't lie? I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. It just annoys me. It just annoys me. I hate this trope. I think I've kicked this dead horse enough, and yeah. So we'll just move on.
All right.
Yeah. So let's see. The video is LF on TV, 5 movies that did the Liar Revealed story right and wrong. We're going to call it good here. Christopher Gumpton says, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I really enjoyed it. Great work. I will definitely try to catch you guys live more often. God bless you both, and much love. Enjoyed chatting with both of you. We enjoyed chatting with you too, man. Thanks. We appreciate it. God bless, and we'll see you next time. So, okay, before we close for the night, I have got to actually advertise my book like an adult. So, let me get that pulled up. And then I'm doing some A/B testing here. I need to figure out which cover to use for a book that's not coming out this January, but next January. I've got 2 covers, and I'm basically taking a poll to figure out which cover is better. So, let me see if I can get this right here. All right, so first, that is not looking great. Hang on a minute. What if I minimize this? Here we go. Man, I am no good at this producing stuff. If we ever actually get big, Cody, I think one thing I'm going to do is invest in a producer, so I don't have to do this, because this is embarrassing. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So here is the title of the book, The Familiar. Book 1 of the Covenant Crisis, Annals of Psalm. Basic plot is Jerome is a familiar who's given his blood to a vampire, but now the vampire wants his wife. So there you go. It will be available February 3rd. It's not going to be available on pre-order, though. I debated about making it available on pre-order, but ChatGPT is telling me that's a bad idea with the first book. So I have to wait till February 3rd to get it, but it is going to be available.
And trust me, you don't want a vampire. You want your wife, because that sucks.
Yes. Hey, it's a pun. Yeah, there you go. I'll give you a B. So. Okay. All right. So that is The Familiar, coming out February 3rd. All right. Now, let me pull up the covers that I'm trying to figure out which one is going to be more useful. Hang on a minute. Here we are. Let's see if I can get this to work on OBS, because I'm sure only one of them is coming out at a time. So, window 2. Okay. What in the world? Cody, I deleted you. That was not supposed to happen.
Ruh-roh.
Again.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Okay, there you go. You're back. I'm just ruining my own channel, scene, an OBS. Okay, so there's the first one. Let's copy and then paste. And then we're going to add the other one. And there we go. No, there we don't go, because it's still... What if I do this? Nope. I apologize, guys. This is not going good. It's switching both over at the same time. That's frustrating. I don't even know how to fix that. Okay, let me do it this way. I'm going to show you the first book cover first, and then I'm going to show the second book cover second. And I'm asking the audience to leave in the comments section book cover 1 or book cover 2. I'm asking your favor. Which book cover do you like more? This is the first one. It's Tragedy of Rebecca Green. This is book 6 in the series, Annals of Psalm. And I cannot figure out which one is going to be better in terms of marketing, so we're trying to do some A/B testing with the YouTube audience. So this is book cover 1. Let me go over here and switch back. Close this out. Open this. And then here is book cover 2. And that's book cover 2. So whichever one y'all... You can't see the second one? Okay. How about now?
Oh, there it is.
There we go. So that's the one I'm talking about right there. Grow it a little bit. So, yeah. If you see
Oh,
this,
they were barely different, huh?
they're substantially different, but just in different ways. So,
Well, I couldn't see a difference. I'm sorry.
okay, no, that's all right. So maybe they make no difference at all. But yeah, whatever the audience thinks. I guess we'll add a third option. It doesn't matter. So book, do you like book 1? Do you like book cover 2? Or does it matter? Anyway, and that's the tragedy of Rebecca Green. That's not going to come out till the plan is January 2027. But anyway, so, but, marketing. So anyway, that's all I have. Cody, you got anything final thoughts for the night?
No, I don't. I just hope I can make it next week.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, hope you.
You as well, man.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up here then. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.